Hello again. There are mounting concerns that Ghanaians could soon experience fresh pressure at the fuel pumps as global oil prices climb sharply. The increase follows renewed attacks on commercial vessels near the Strait of Hormuz, a strategic maritime corridor responsible for transporting roughly 20% of the world's oil and gas supply. The surge in prices comes amid heightened tensions in the Middle East, where Iran has stepped up military actions across the region in response to ongoing confrontations involving the United States and Israel. The developments have unsettled global energy markets, with oil-importing countries like Ghana expected to feel the effects. Despite the uncertainty, the National Petroleum Authority is seeking to reassure the public. The authority says Ghana currently has adequate reserves to last several weeks. Speaking on JoyNews The Probe on Sunday, the NPA's Director of Economic Regulation and Planning, Abbas Ibrahim Tasunti, admitted that Ghana cannot completely escape the impact of global price fluctuations. However, he emphasized that safeguards have been implemented to minimize the burden on consumers. Head of Research here at JoyNews, Isaac Kufieje, has been providing some details.
Whatever happens to the Middle East has, a significant impact on developing economies like Ghana. And just like you said, the Strait of Hormuz has now been reportedly closed, and we understand that there's traffic jam there at the moment. What is keeping the world currently is because we have some 15 million barrels of crude that have already left Middle East to the market, and that is really keeping the markets currently. But there's a lot of traffic jam around the Strait of Hormuz, and that is what is a big concern to many emerging economies, because whatever happens here is so important to your inflation, because when crude prices begin to go up, simply means that price at the pumps will go up. This is going to reflect in your inflation calculation, and we possibly will be seeing inflation going up if this is prolonged. And the condition here is if this is prolonged. And another important thing is that once you begin to see crude prices going up, it always goes up with the dollar. And so the dollar index this morning we checked is up close about 1.5%. That will also mean that there's a high tendency that if this should prolong, there's going to be some level of pressure also on the city. So checking this, because why? The Middle East accounts for about 30% of the world's crude that we consume, and the Strait of Hormuz that we are talking about, 20% of the commercial flow of the global crude is actually passing through this strait that we're talking about. Also very important. So whatever happens there is important to you. And this has been, the crude prices we've seen so far. If you could look at it from the far end, what you see is that prices have actually gone up by some, more than 7% between last week Monday and today. If you look at last week Monday and today, crude prices, Brent crude prices have gone up by more than 7%. Crude oil also up by more than 7%, and that's what we are seeing currently, inching close to 80% per barrel. This is where we are. For the first time we are seeing it around 78. The last time we saw it there was November 2022. When Russia-Ukraine war actually came to be. This was when crude price went as high as 78 dollars per barrel. Now we are seeing the same price also being displayed here. And now usually we want to see what also going to happen in the gold space. Gold is also still going up, although the dollar index is going up. We could be cashing in on that tangent. It's a net gain. Right. So the key question, Ken, we should be asking ourselves is, how much do we export to take advantage of the rising crude prices? And in terms of imports, our vulnerability, especially to the Middle East, how is it going to affect the economy?
We've also been hearing from the NPA's Director of Economic Regulation and Planning, Abbas Ibrahim Tasunti, who maintains that mechanisms are in place to stabilize supply and cushion Ghanaians against the price shocks.
As you said, Ghana will definitely be affected, just like any other country in the world. So the focus will be what plans we have in place to ensure that consumers do not lack fuel for the economy to run. So as you asked, what is Ghana's current stock level of petroleum products? As of last Friday, we have diesel stocks to last us over 5 weeks. Estimated roughly, it will last us up to 5.3 weeks. And then for petrol, we have almost 7 weeks, 6.8 weeks to last. And this is something that we monitor all the time. If you know that for a country like Ghana, which is a net importer, even without this war, we always ensure that we have a plan to make petroleum products available for consumers in the country. And so this is not something that is being done because of the war, but it's something we do on the regular. It's one of NPA's major mandates to ensure that petroleum products are always available. So as of Friday, like you said, the last monitoring that we did, petrol again will last us up to almost 7 weeks, 6.8 weeks, and diesel will last us about 5.3 weeks. But just to add that this does not mean that we don't have imports coming in. We discharge petroleum products almost every day in this country. So we have a plan where almost every day discharge of petroleum products have been done. That is for the imported products.
Meanwhile, the deputy ranking member on Parliament's Energy Committee, Collins Adomako-Mensah, says the committee will convene an emergency meeting with the MPA and other key stakeholders this week. The goal, he says, is to review the measures being taken to mitigate the potential impact of rising global oil prices on consumers.
My chairman has just intimated to me that it's likely we are going to have an emergency meeting with the power players, with the players in the industry. MPA, I'm sure, is going to be summoned by Tuesday or Wednesday to come and meet the committee alongside the Ministry of Energy to come and explain to us what this whole war means to us. And the question you put to me, I'm sure I'm going to put the same question to them when they come to us. They are the technical people. They should explain to us what the implications are, although we have a fair idea that is going to lead to some price increases. This brings to the fore the issue about TOR, and I'm excited that TOR is now running. I mean, not at the full capacity, but it has started some operations. We have to have a very serious policy discussion with oil producers. We produce oil now in Ghana. What do we do in situations like this? Can we, as a matter of urgency, have a meeting with them to see whether we can quickly refine quite a number of it here in Ghana so we can be assured of some supply? These are all policy direction that must be taken by the ministry. But as I said, it's likely we are going to have a meeting with officials of NPA and the Ministry of Energy on Wednesday for them to throw more light on it for us.
So that is the energy angle to this whole tension that has happened in the Middle East, which started over the weekend. Let's look at the geopolitics, what impact it is likely to have on the world security and also international relations, and bring in Professor Vladimir Antwi-Danso. He's an international relations expert. He's also a security analyst. Grateful for your time this afternoon. Let's begin with the security angle. What do you make of the attacks which were launched on Iran by a joint operation with the United States and Israel this Saturday?
Well, thank you for having me. I'll describe appropriately by the UN Secretary General. These were illegal attacks. It's against the principles of international law and against the tenets of the Charter of the UN. And I'm
struggling to hear you. If you can kindly speak up for me.
I said thank you for having me. And as appropriately described by the UN Secretary General of the UN,
right?
These are illegal attacks and against the principles of the UN Charter. And as you may know, any such attacks in history have brought about with it some kind of instability for the world. If it escalates, it has several geopolitical and also global implications for instability, economic instability, and political instability. Regionally, we all know what is happening. And what is going to happen is that there are two traps. One, the friends of the U.S. whose territories are being targeted by Iran legitimately can gang up and also escalate the issue by retaliating. Two, there is a possibility of state implosion also in Iran. And anywhere there have been state implosion because of such illegal attacks, we know the repercussions are there. Let's take Iraq, 2003. We felt that we are going to attack and have a regime change. What happened was ISIL, which came out of the ashes and terrorism was at its height from the Iraqi invasion. Libya, we all know what has happened. And we bear the brunt in West Africa.
Right.
That the implosion of Libya created the condition for the Sahel to be the epicenter now of terrorism. Now, if you go to Afghanistan, again, the same thing. The implosion of Afghanistan created heightened situation for terrorism to rise. So I'm thinking if, again, this new trap of state implosion in Iran happens, there's going to be more terrorism in the world. Allied to it is what we have discussed already about the price hikes in oil.
Right.
Anytime there are price hikes, there is instability and turmoil in the global economy. And Ghana will also be affected by that. So these are the implications.
You talked about Iraq, you talked about Afghanistan, you talked about Libya and all that. In all these wars, America had its most trusted allies. You had the likes of the UK and other European powers backing them. But in this one, they are going alone and with Israel. Does that speak to anything about the geopolitics in this world? Do you think America's long-standing allies are abandoning them?
They are not. Unfortunately, that's what many people think. They are not. Because this is the time that we have a chance to save multilateralism. This is the time we have for Europe to back the rest of the world, back Guterres, to save the UN system. Because without that system, then we are going to see more unilateralism. And unilateralism splits the world. The point is this, that even though they are saying we're backing, they are still warning Iran. They are still, putting sanctions and freezing Iranian assets. But if we all can gang up together to call the bluff of the U.S., we'll have more peace. Incidentally, President Trump prides himself in being the best peacemaker in the world ever since history was made.
Right.
And it's clear that he is the one who is rather bringing more chaos. And so the West should team up with the rest of the world to call the bluff of the U.S., isolate the U.S. and Israel, and we'll have more peace.
In January, we saw the U.S. go into Venezuela to capture their president, Maduro, and now we've seen the supreme leader of Iran being killed. We also have another power in China, who has always maintained that Taiwan is part of China. Do you think that this will give China the opportunity to say that let's grab Taiwan by force now that the United States has shown that they do not respect international law?
Well, in China's case, we need to be very careful about how we analyze China. In international law, and the UN itself knows, we all know, that Taiwan is an integral part of China. This is a word. Taiwan is not a recognized separate entity. It's not a country. It has not been recognized as such in UN circles. When in 1973, the UN membership was taken away from Taiwan and given to bigger China, the understanding was that it is one big China with two systems. So the way we are treating Taiwan as if it's a separate country from China is wrong.
Right.
China has every right to take it over long ago. But I think China is being very cautious not to escalate anything in the world, politically. So geostrategically, it is bidding its time. It has that, what we call in international politics, strategic patience.
Right.
That's what China is doing.
This conflict might be happening in the Middle East, but already we've seen the rippling effects all over the world. What are the likely implications of this war on Ghana?
Mostly economic. Because politically, we are very insignificant when it comes to these big politics. The only thing we can do is to use soft politics to ask for de-escalation, etc., etc. But mostly it's going to be more economic. If the dollar hiccups because of this, if the market also hiccups, the indices are showing that things are going bad. and if the bank also hiccup, then we are going to have a problem. Worst is when oil starts tumbling in price. We had it in 1973 because of the Yom Kippur War, which allowed the Arab countries to weaponize oil. We had a big rippling effect of Ghana. It led Campbell down because oil quadrupled, and it started taking toll on the economy all the way up to Jump, all the way up to Jerry Rawlings' 1979 revolution. So you can imagine the rippling effect it can have on our economy. We are being assured of oil that can last us some few weeks. But what are we doing about that? I think the government must do well. And you, the journalists, must also help in trying to school us towards what may happen, so that we don't politicize this, we don't run up, call for change of government and that kind of. So we need to be schooled on all these.
Professor Antwi-Danso, and we've also been hearing some response from the African Union. The African Union condemned this attack, but notably, though, in that particular response that they brought out, they condemned Iran for its attacks on its neighbors, but failed to condemn the United States and Israel for launching that attack on Iran in the first place. What does that speak of the African Union?
The lame situation where we always lick the asses of our benefactors. You know, more than 60 to 67% of AU budget on conflict is from the EU and from the West.
Right.
As a result, we are unable to be bold where it matters. Let me tell you that in international law, and this is not the coining of Antwi-Danso, in international law, Iran has every legitimate right to attack the bases of the U.S. or Israel in any country around Iran, or even Faro, where it thinks that attack and come. The base of the U.S. in the Gulf states are legitimate targets because in the law of war, a territory that has given an enemy to operate is a target. Law is this started from the Caroline case in law, international law, far off in the 19th century. So we cannot condemn Iran for attacking those bases. And they give a reason why they want to attack those bases. International law allows it. Article 51 of the UN Charter allows this clearly. And they can make reference to it and do the attack. They are not attacking those countries. They are attacking the bases from where U.S. attacks can come. And that is very legitimate. How legitimate is the U.S. attacking the house or office of the Ayatollah and killing him? What is the legitimacy? And the AU cannot condemn this.
We've seen several invasions of the Middle East, in particular by the United States, even in the 21st century. You mentioned Iraq, you mentioned Afghanistan, which they withdrew somewhere in 2021, and now Iran. How different is Iran from Iraq and Afghanistan?
No difference. It is unilateralism. It is something which is against international law. Any of those attacks were against international law. Kofi Annan made it clear in the attack in 2003. He wasn't listened to and he was subjected to some humiliation, you know. But the point is this, that, as I said, the system we put in place in 1945 to ensure that the world becomes peaceful is being seriously undermined by these unilateralist actions. And if we don't take care, if we kill the UN system, the chaotic situations in the world cannot be, or it can be anybody's guess. Because then power is might, you know, or might is right.
Right.
And what will happen is that people will not, the arms race will be so high that anytime there is any explosion, the world will be torn apart. And that's what we need to all work against. Unilateralism is killing multilateralism. And it's only multilateralism through institutionalism that can work for the world. So we all meet in a multilateral summit and we say A is good, B is bad. And we all adhere to it, big or small nations. But we are making the UN very impotent.
Right. Speaking of the UN, though, it was established in 1945 to prevent another world war after the end of World War II. Since then, there's been pockets of, wars, but there's yet to be a World War III. Do you think that the UN has been very irrelevant in its role of preventing wars since its establishment, and especially recently?
The UN is made up of member states. There is not a UN hanging out anywhere as a supranational organ saying yes or no to things. What we make of the UN is how the UN works. So if members of the UN are derailing the very rails of the UN, then we cannot blame the UN for being impotent. What happened to the League of Nations is what we are doing to the UN now, and that is why I'm warning. We gave the UN powers through the acts or the articles of the Charter. And if we infringe the article from article to article, then who do you blame? The UN has no standing army, it has no powers, and everything it is doing is to ensure that every country lives in peace. However, the bigger nations are trying to undermine the UN. So let's not blame the UN. It is the only thing we have left. If it implodes, the whole world can have anything. You saw what China displayed quite recently.
Yeah.
And I tell you, they can just blow the world apart.
And not long ago, though, there was the establishment of the Board of Peace by the president of the U.S., Donald Trump, saying that they are going to settle, first of all, the crisis in Gaza and settle, disputes around the world. Some have argued that that could be a potential rival to the United Nations. Do you see it that way?
Exactly. Who gave the U.S. president that mandate to create a rival organization? It's the work of the UN to do what he wants to do. The work of the UN to say, look, let's do it this way, let's do it, then we are all hands on deck. But if you handpick some group of persons and people or countries and say Board of Peace, and it is now going to do what the UN is supposed to do, that is rascally. That is bad.
We're now seeing some Ghanaians stranded in many Middle Eastern countries, UAE, Kuwait, Jordan, Oman, and so on. How should the government of Ghana go about it? We're seeing flights cancelled all over.
We need to liaise with those countries and liaise with like-minded countries to see how these people might have their peace and have their security. My son is one of them. My son is a pilot and is now stranded in Qatar. He flies with Qatar Airways, and I'm worried myself. So we should pray that there is de-escalation so that we have normalcy return to these places, because it's scary. No plane flying in those areas has 100% assurance that it can fly out or in. So let's come together with all those other countries so that we are able to secure safe passage for almost every citizen of our countries.
Not long ago, we saw Iran and Israel exchange missiles like they are doing right now, and that brief war lasted for just 12 days. Now we're hearing the United States president saying that this operation could last from 4 weeks or beyond until the U.S. achieve its goal. Do you see this operation, as the U.S. has dubbed it, lasting far beyond a month? Do you see any end in sight of this?
I see. It depends on what the rest of the world does. The point is that I'm fearing that it can last quickly if Iran exhausts its arsenals, because it is limited. I do not think it has stocks that can last those weeks. And if it is having stocks depleted, then it means the war will last a few days. But if it has what it takes to sustain the war, then I tell you, the resolve of a theocratic state like Iran would mean that they will fight on. especially so that the Ayatollah has been killed. And even if the state implodes, the goal of America is to have state implosion and regime change. If that happens, as I predict, as we all saw in the Iraq, Afghanistan, and other places, what is going to happen is an uptick of terrorism.
Right. Professor Antwi-Danso, don't go yet. There's a new statement coming in from the regional bloc, ECOWAS. Let's read it to our viewers right now. And there you have it on the screen. It says the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, under the chairmanship of Julius Maada Bio, President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, aligns herself with the statement of the African Union Commission expressing deep concern over the escalating hostilities in the Gulf region. The intensification of military action risks widening instability in the Middle East with serious consequences for international peace and security in general and for global energy markets, trade and supply chain, especially for Africa and other vulnerable regions. ECOWAS therefore calls on all parties to exercise maximum restraint and to act in full compliance with the United Nations Charter and international law, particularly the principles of sovereignty, territorial integrity, and the peaceful settlement of disputes. The protection of civilian lives and critical infrastructure must remain paramount. ECOWAS further calls for renewed diplomatic efforts within established international and regional frameworks in order to promote dialogue, reduce tensions, and restore stability. ECOWAS fully endorses African Union's statements on the development and reaffirms West Africa's commitment to multilateralism and the peaceful resolution of disputes. Right, Professor Vladimir Antwi-Danso, I believe you were following that particular statement released by the regional bloc ECOWAS. Interestingly, they did not mention the name of Iran, Iraq, the United States, but they say that they are in support of the earlier statement released by the African Union and are calling for cool heads to prevail. What's your thought on that?
Well, it's good that they are calling on cool heads to prevail. But unfortunately, at times it is better to name a spade a spade. I remember Arikana, Her Excellency Arikana, when she was bold enough at the UN, telling the UN in the face about France's attitude towards Africa. And she was removed by the same AU. But what she said was later on picked up by the UN. So let us say it clear. Iran, yes, the development of your whatever it is what is bringing X or Y. And add those nuances that please, can we have a situation where you lower your eagerness to have atomic bomb, blah, blah, blah. US, you are not right. International law will die if this is what we're doing. If you are talking about sovereignty in this communique, why don't you condemn the UN for violating somebody else's sovereignty? You know, just condemn and then tell them what to be done. But always we believe that crumbs will not come from them, and therefore we are a little cautious in our statement. Well, I like the statement, but it doesn't go far enough. And supporting the AU one is lame. And so when we say we put support to the AU one, I don't think we have done well.
Right, Professor Vladimir Antwi-Danso, don't go yet, because as I mentioned earlier, we understand that a number of travelers are currently stranded in the region. You did mention that your son is one of them, and some global media outlets are putting the figure at hundreds of thousands of passengers, and JoyNews has been looking into the likely number of travelers currently stranded in the region. Meanwhile, evacuation plans by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration remain unclear as several Ghanaians are stranded in the United Arab Emirates following a sudden airspace shutdown across parts of the Gulf. Among these affected are players of the Black Queens and popular blogger Zion Felix. The closures followed the U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iran, triggering widespread flight cancellations and grounding operations at major airports in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Doha. Airlines including Emirates and Etihad Airlines have extended suspensions As tensions remain high, leaving thousands of international travelers unable to return home. The first head of Joy Sports here at the multimedia group Fento Tahiru Fento paints a picture of the Black Queen's situation.
On Wednesday, just last Wednesday, for a tournament called the Pink Ladies Cup. It's an annual competition. It's made up of 4 teams. It's an invitational tournament. And they were invited to participate in the competition alongside Russia, Hong Kong, and Tanzania. And they were supposed to use that game as a preparatory, or that tournament as a preparatory competition ahead of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, which starts on the 17th of March, so later this month. And so the team went there on Wednesday, 25 players with 16 officials, and they played their first game on Saturday. That was yesterday against Hong Kong. They won that game by 4-0. Then later in the evening, after the match, the escalating tensions resulted in the reports that we saw with several aspects or several areas in Dubai reportedly bombed by Iranian missiles. Now, the team is lodged at the Sheraton Hotel, 4 Seasons. It's at a city called Sharjah, but that city is slightly just outside of Dubai, also on the coast, and it's not exactly in the center of Dubai, but people that we spoke to this morning indicated that they could see smoke bellowing from a distance about 10 or 15 meters away, and they've been told to pack up all of their baggage in preparations for possible evacuation. As we know, the entire airspace of the UAE is closed, and all flights inbound and outbound are grounded.
Meanwhile, popular blogger Felix Adumaku-Mensah, popularly known as Zion Felix, is also stranded in Dubai. His plans to fly to London were disrupted by the development, and he's joining us from his location in Dubai. Zion, thank you very much for joining me this afternoon. First of all, I want to find out how you're doing.
I'm safe, but I'm not fine.
Right. How long have you been stranded, and why?
Since Saturday, because of the cancellation of flights. I was to fly around 2:30 p.m. from Dubai Airport to Stansted, London. And around 2 p.m. on Saturday, they sent emails that our flight has been rescheduled to 4:30 p.m. So around 4, we went to the board at the airport, and we saw that all flights have been cancelled. So we went to the counter. They gave us voucher for hotel, transportation to the hotel, and visa to enter UAE again. I was in UAE, so I was flying out, and my visa was a single entry. So since I had to go back to Dubai.
Hello, Zion? Do we have Zion on the line? Zion is a blogger who is stranded among hundreds of Ghanaians who have been stranded in the Middle East. He is currently in Dubai, and he was explaining to us what sent him to Dubai. He was scheduled to fly to London a bit later, but we understand that flights have been cancelled. Some have also been suspended. Do we have Zion back on the line? Zion, you were making a point when we lost you. Please unmute so we can hear you.
Okay, so I was saying that when the flights were cancelled, we were given a voucher for hotel, transportation to the hotel, and then visa to re-enter Dubai. And it's been good so far. I mean, Emirates has taken very good care of us since Saturday evening till today. This morning they came to the hotel, right, asked of our details, and then our flight details, our room, so that in case of any updates, they will give it to us. I asked them when we'll be flying, but the lady that talked to us said she doesn't know when we are leaving.
Right, we've been hearing that Ghanaians in Doha, Qatar, have been told by the embassy there to write their details and names so that they can easily transmit information to them. Is the same happening in UAE? Have you been contacted by the Ghanaian embassy there?
I saw a statement with contacts that we should call, but nobody has contacted us. In fact, I've had conversations with other Ghanaians, and none of them has mentioned that the embassy has contacted them. But I saw a statement online with contact details that we should call in case we need any help.
And how many Ghanaians do you see stranded there with you?
I went to see Kwakumeni yesterday, and then I saw another lady there, and I've had conversations with like 2 or 3 other people who are also here. And there's one woman who owns even a school at East Legon who says she has to extend her stay and pay her own accommodation. Even with Kwakumeni yesterday, when I went, he had to also extend the hotel stay, and he had to pay for it himself. But with me, Emirates has covered everything because I was at the gate when they had to cancel their flight. With other people that have to extend their stay, they have to cover all those bills. So I think in total I have like 4 or 5 Ghanaians that I've had conversations with who are also stranded here in Dubai.
And how many more are you hearing are stranded as well, aside from the ones you've had conversations with, of course?
I think when I was at the gate at the airport, I saw 2 other Ghanaians who were also flying to the UK. I saw 2 other Ghanaians who were flying to the UK. We even took pictures. So I think apart from them, I've not heard of other people who are stranded here. So I think these are the people that I've heard that they are stranded here in Dubai. That they were traveling to other parts of the world.
We see that in Dubai, in Doha, and in other major cities in the Middle East, they usually get alarms on their phones when, these missiles are flying in the air. Have you ever gotten such an alarm on your phone?
Sunday around 12:04 midnight, I had alarm. I mean, twice on my phone. And when I woke up in the morning, I was informed that there were some missiles in the air, and that is why we had those alarms. And then, I mean, it comes with a notification. It is written in Arabic, and then they translate it into English that you should find shelter elsewhere. I mean, go to places that there's no window and all that. So yes, Sunday midnight, I had alert on my phone. But this dawn, I've not had anything on my phone. After that alert, I've not had any other alert on my phone again.
And we've seen some hotels, some luxury hotels in the UAE being hit by these missiles. Are they closer to you?
Oh, no. Where Emirates put me is very far from where the incident happened. And I must commend Emirates for how they are treating us. In fact, they've given us 5-star hotel and making sure that everybody is okay. I mean, communicating with us so that in case of anything, we will know what we will do. But where the issue happened on, I think, Saturday, Saturday was far from us. It was after I woke up Sunday that I heard that the airport was hit, but it was far after we had left the airport.
You've mentioned that Emirates has been very good to you. Does that mean that they are taking the cost of the accommodation and you're feeding as you are in UAE right now, or you are doing it yourself?
Right now, Emirates is taking care of the accommodation. Since Saturday evening to date, they've been taking care of the accommodation. And then the accommodation comes with breakfast. I don't know about lunch and supper, but it comes with breakfast. And we are paying nothing for the place that we are staying. I don't know for how long they are going to do that, but they've not said anything like you have to leave it here today or tomorrow. When they came today, they said in case of any other information about our traveling, they will inform us. So I believe we stay there till whenever we are supposed to leave.
We've heard that some people have been injured in the UAE. Have you heard that any of them is a Ghanaian?
Not for now. I've not heard that any Ghanaian is injured as of now.
So right now, do you have any information as to when the airspace in the UAE will be opened so that you can leave that country?
That is the problem right now. I keep checking updates on Emirates website, and then they keep postponing it. As of yesterday, they said today, 3 p.m., they'll give us update. I checked today, they say tomorrow, 3 p.m., they'll give us update. As I mentioned earlier, this morning, Emirates was at our hotel to take our details and everything. We asked them when we'll be flying, and the lady said she has no idea on when we are leaving because they are not to control it. If the airspace is opened, they will give us details on when we are all leaving. But as of now, the airspace is closed, and she can't say anything about our travel outside Dubai.
Zion, don't go yet. I have Vladimir Antwi-Danso. He is an international relations and security expert. Vladimir, I know that this hits home because you've mentioned to me that your son has also been caught in this violence that is happening in the Middle East. What do you make of the narration that Zion Felix, who is a blogger, has been caught up in the UAE? What do you make of his narration?
Well, it's a natural phenomenon. It's a force majeure, what we call in war force majeure. It's a situation you can't do anything about. So you try and take defensive measures that will insulate you from any harm. And I believe that's what Emirates and all other airlines are doing. What countries will have to do is to persuade the three countries, Israel, the US, and Iran, to give a corridor of some hours, let's say a day or two, so that all flights going out can go out, and those coming in for the period, those coming in, residents coming to UAE and other places to come in, and then they may block it again. It's a question of persuasion. As a situation of war, you cannot say that, as for me, I need to go to Ghana, so give me a plane. Or Ghana government cannot take a plane and say, I'm going to evacuate, unless the airspaces are free. And so the only way is to have a little lull, some ceasefire period when the flights can be allowed to move. If we don't do that and we say we are attempting to fly out by force or take other unauthorized routes, like taking a trade to any of their countries and moving on to say Saudi Arabia and fly for Saudi Arabia, is the same thing. The area is now choked with instability.
Right. That's a very good point, because some people might, out of panic, decide to take some of the decisions that you've mentioned. But what if they have nowhere to go? Zion mentioned to me that for him, Emirates is taking care of at least the passengers who, went to the country. What about somebody who is not having the luxury that Zion is having with his airline? What does the person do? Can the person, for example, seek shelter at the Ghanaian embassy there?
Of course, the Ghanaian embassy has a right to, assist, but there's a limit to that also. It happened once upon a time in Liberia when hundreds of thousands of people took refuge at the Ghanaian embassy. They are feeding, and you can imagine the chaos. So we had a big problem with the Ghanaian embassy in Liberia at that time. And the story was very bad. The story was really, really very bad. But if the embassy has what it takes to house some people, fine. Other than that, as I said, as individuals, we always take precautionary and defensive measures. If there is anything one can do to preserve the self, that's the most important. All other luxuries are secondary. But to preserve life, yourself, whether you are sleeping on somebody's veranda or whatever, take these precautionary measures and do not take any other untoward measures on your own.
Right. Don't go yet. Please stay with me. Let me come back to Zion. Zion, you've mentioned that, of course, Emirates has been very kind to you to, afford you the opportunity to stay for an extended period of time. Have you heard of any Ghanaians who are caught in this crossfire like you have been that do not have the luxury of flying with Emirates and are stranded and need help?
I was having a conversation with somebody. She was using an American number. She texted me, and then she was asking how I'm staying here, and I informed her that Emirates is taking care of everything. And she said she'll go there tomorrow because she extended it for 2 extra days, and she has to extend again. And I told her that from the look of things, she has to keep extending it if it keeps dragging, because she wasn't at the airport at the time Emirates cancelled all the flights. I was fortunate to be at the airport when Emirates cancelled it.
Unfortunately, it appears that we've lost Zion Felix back on the line again. But let me wrap up with Professor Vladimir Antwi-Danso. He's an international relations and security expert. Professor Antwi-Danso, your departing words.
Well, it's an unfortunate situation, a situation where, for me, the sadness is the way we are undermining global security. And therefore, we must all put our voice together. Let's fight unilaterally with one state. Our government has done very well, always multilaterally. Programs they have lined up, and our attention that we are, of course, drawn to what is happening have always been very good. I remember that in almost things, what issue has been doing so far is very, it pays respect. The four main pillars of our foreign policy, one of which is multilateralism. We are here to the principles of multilateralism. We support the UN, and let us all fight to support the UN to ensure that there's no third world, to ensure that the world becomes more peaceful. That's the problem that is unfolding in the Middle East. I think the Middle Eastern people themselves will come together and know that the authorities that's being used to spoil the world. It's understood that the GCC and the Arab countries around are not together. Are not together because of pettiness. Sunni, Shiite like. It doesn't make sense that terrorists are continuous over centuries been used to destabilize themselves and the world. And they are watching instead of coming together to call them proper powers. So I believe that Ghanaians also must raise themselves for hard times ahead. We've had them before, and we're not exposed to the reason.
Right.
Champion's time, as I said, the problem was because of the Yom Kippur War, but we thought that it was a monster. And that's how we expect things went better. This time, let us be minded of the very fact that it's a global issue, and that we must face the consequences, even though we are not to blame.
So, what lessons can the global South, including Ghana, take from this?
What we need to take from this is that unilateralism does us no good.
Right. Thank you very much, Professor Vladimir Antwi-Danso is an international relations and security expert. Let's take you back to Dubai, where we have a popular blogger, Zion Felix, back on the line with us. Zion, the internet keeps going back and forth. Could it be as a reason of what is happening there?
No. People keep calling me. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. So you were making a point about a lady contacting you that she wants
She told me she was checking out tomorrow to the airport to see if Emirates can help her. And I'm like, if you go to the airport, I'm not sure you get anybody to help you, because I was at the airport yesterday. I left my bag there when we were trying to get out of the airport. We weren't rushing, but you have to move here, you have to go there, you have to go there. So I left my backpack at the airport. So I went there yesterday, and then it was almost empty. I met a few people. I went to the Lost and Found, and they told me that they're not working. I asked when they'll start working, and then they said they don't know. So I told the lady that even if she goes to the airport, she'll get nobody to help her. So it's better she extends her stay at the hotel, because if she leaves and somebody else comes to take that spot, she'll be stranded in Dubai. Right. And she said, okay, she will try and extend it till she gets information on when to fly out of Dubai. So as I know, I don't know any person who is struggling to get accommodation here in Dubai. I was with Kokumenu yesterday, as I mentioned earlier, and he extended his stay for 2 days. And another lady that I said she owns school at East Legon has also extended her stay. So I don't know anybody here right now who is struggling to get accommodation in Dubai at the moment.
Dubai, we all know, is a very vibrant city. How has it changed since this war broke out?
I'm on the street right now, and it's not really active as it used to be. Especially today, people were asked to work from home. The people who could work from home, they were asked to work from home. So it's not really vibrant as it used to be when I came weeks ago. I've been today's like my 19th or 20th day in Dubai, and almost the place is quiet. Hoping probably from tomorrow or tomorrow next, it will start becoming vibrant again. It's not really crazy as people are looking at it, even though at times you hear some sounds in the air, but it's not like how people are making it look like it's really crazy out here in Dubai. They've intercepted a lot of things in the air, and people are sure that since you're in Dubai, they will take care of you, and then Dubai is doing exactly that. So it's not active as it used to be, but we know that in the coming days, things will start becoming active here in Dubai.
Right. Zion, I wish you to be safe for us, and I hope that you return back to Ghana as soon as possible.
Any flight that I get, I'll go. To Accra, to Togo, to anywhere, I'll go.
Please stay safe.
Thank you very much.
All right. Zion Felix is a popular blogger who has been caught in the crossfire in the Middle East. You're still watching The Pulse here on JoyNews. We return from the break with more. See you in a moment. Hello again. The tightly contested battle is hours away from decision in Ayawasu East constituency, with new polling tipping the NDC as favorite less than 24 hours before voters head to the polls. Well, fresh data from Global Info Analytics points to an edge for the NDC's Baba Jamal in the by-election. He faces Baba Ali Yusuf of the New Patriotic Party, Ibrahim Idrisu of the Liberal Party of Ghana, and two independent candidates. The NDC's Deputy Communications Officer, Akugan, says they are confident of winning with a percentage of over 70%. We'll hear from him shortly, but first, my colleague Stephen Manson just returned from the constituency and joins me in the studio with more on this. Stephen, you have been in the constituency this morning. What is the mood there?
Well, it's one of an expectation for most of the residents there. They're expecting peace and stability within the constituency during, before, and after the elections. What you will notice once you get into the constituency will be the posters and signages of all the aspirants, the 5 aspirants. It's splashed all around the constituency. You will notice Baba Jamal's posters, the LPG party, and the independent candidates also. Their posters all around, right from the runabout, the Nima runabout, all through to the Nima market, all throughout the constituency. We've been speaking to some of the residents in the constituency, and as I mentioned earlier, they are expecting peace within the constituency. They've also been talking about some expectations they'll want from the next member of parliament. For some, they want infrastructure.
Right.
You know, it's positioned quite strategically. It's close to the presidency. It's close to the Nima Highway also, and it's one that I spoke to one resident who says she came all the way from Dansoman to purchase from the Nima market. That shows how critical it is. So these residents say that they want the Nima market expanded.
Right. One
of the expectations from the next member of parliament will be the expansion of the market. They also talk about an improvement in the sanitation of the constituency, the drainage and cleanliness, general cleanliness in the constituency also. You notice that what we noticed was that some of these homes do not have places of convenience. So you have to travel all the way to these public places for to ease themselves. So they want government or the next member of parliament to provide that for them also. One other critical thing these residents I spoke to tell me is that they want skills training for the youth. There's this perception that Nima is one that has been characterized by violence and social vices. And these residents say one of the main contributions to these social vices will be that these people or this youth are not trained. They are unemployed, uneducated. Right. So once the next member of parliament is given them the opportunity to train themselves in artisanal works and all, it will bring down these social vices in the constituency. And generally, they would want an overall development of the constituency. It's pretty interesting to me because I spoke to one person, she says that she wants the constituency to be at par with the East Legons and the cantonments.
Right. And Stephen, you've also been speaking to an executive of the governing NDC. What has he been telling you?
Right. So the National Deputy Communications Officer for the NDC, he says that they are pretty optimistic of a victory or emerging victorious in the elections. The elections come tomorrow. And they say that they would win by a percentage of over 70%.
Right.
And then they are not expecting any vote buying incident or gift incident during these elections. We can listen to him.
Stephen, we will listen to that in a moment. But in the meantime, though, let's go onto the telephone lines right now and speak to the Director of Elections at the Electoral Commission of Ghana, Fred Tete. Fred, grateful for your time this afternoon. Is the Electoral Commission fully prepared for tomorrow's polls?
Hello.
Hi, Fred. Welcome to the program. I'm asking if the EC is fully prepared for tomorrow's polls.
Yeah, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
I can, loud and clear.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Fred, I can hear you.
Okay, right. Thank you very much. And good afternoon to everybody and to the listeners, particularly those in Ayawasu East constituency where we're going to hold the by-elections tomorrow. The EC is ready. As I've been saying, we are totally ready for tomorrow's by-elections. From the point of preparation, logistics, we are ready.
Right. Fred, I would appreciate if you can turn on your camera so we can see your face. Speaking of logistics and materials, are all of them ready as we speak?
Hello?
Hello, Fred? Hello, Fred, can you hear me? We're struggling to establish
Your line is breaking.
Yes, but I can hear you. We're struggling to establish connection with Fred today with the Electoral Commission. He's the Director of Research at the EC there. He was giving us an update on their preparedness for tomorrow's by-election in the Ayawasu East constituency. Do we have Fred back on the line? Unfortunately, we do not. But let's bring in Rashid Tanko Computer. He's the Deputy Director of IT and Elections with the governing NDC. Rashid, grateful for your time this afternoon. We've been to the constituency today. We see that it is fully prepared for the election tomorrow. And as a party, how prepared are you for tomorrow?
Very well, my brother. Let me say good afternoon to you and your cherished viewers across the globe. The NDC is very much prepared for tomorrow. In fact, we have done our job over the past 2 weeks. We've been busy in the constituency, busy training our party agents, training our observers and supervisors, and our campaign relays. So we've been very busy in the constituency, and I can assure you it's looking very bright for us tomorrow.
Right.
We are going to win with a very huge margin tomorrow.
Global Info Analytics is predicting 75% win for the NDC. Do you agree with that? Hello, Rashid?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yes, I was asking you if you agree with Global Info Analytics' latest prediction that the NDC candidate, Baba Jamal, is going to win this by-election with as much as 75% of the votes tomorrow.
Well, I am not surprised with the outcome of their results because clearly, if you look at the kind of work we have put in the constituency, and the constituencies too they are living testimonies of the performance of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. I mean, if you put it all together, I'm not surprised with the 75% at all. I'm not surprised. Clearly, we're even expecting more because of what we have done in the constituency. We've campaigned vigorously. The people are telling us they are living testimonies of the good works of the NDC government, and then therefore they are going to return a good verdict for the NDC. In fact, that's what they are telling us in the constituency. Right. Wherever you go, we present our message to them. They receive it with open arms, and they are telling us, NDC, you have no problem. You are a party that we can trust. We will vote for you tomorrow. I mean, this one is very clear. So I'm not surprised with the outcome of Global Info Analytics.
A few weeks ago, there was a parliamentary primaries that elected Baba Jamal in that particular constituency to lead the NDC. We all had accusations of vote buying. In fact, your party found Baba Jamal and the other candidates to have engaged in vote buying. Are you putting any mechanisms in place tomorrow to ensure that what we witnessed during the primaries of allegations of vote buying does not repeat itself when it comes to your candidate?
Very well. You saw what happened. Shortly after the issue came up, we formed a 3-man committee to investigate that. And they presented their report. Unfortunately, our party constitution did not make room for how to handle matters of that nature. And then so we had to move on. But we've expanded the mandate of the 3-man committee. Now we've added additional 4 members to make a 7-member committee to go into the matter and come out with a workable recommendation of which to keep this, because the NDC, as a social democratic party, abhors such a behavior. And that tells you that tomorrow by election, we are not going to expect this, because this one is a national election. It's not a candidate's election. The party is leading the campaign for this election, and the party is leading the charge for tomorrow. So if the party is against that matter, you don't expect that issue to happen tomorrow at all. It won't happen.
Right. Rashid Tanko Computer, thank you very much. He's the Deputy Director of IT and Elections with the governing National Democratic Congress. And I understand that we have Fred Tete of the Electoral Commission back on the line. Fred, I want to believe you can hear me now. Can you?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yes.
Right. I was asking you about logistics and the materials for tomorrow's elections. How ready is the Electoral Commission?
Okay, let me assure the voting public in Ayawasu East that in terms of logistics, materials such as the registers, the BVDs, the verification machines, and ballot boxes, everything that goes with the election process tomorrow are ready. Personnel are ready as well. I'm talking about the 455 recruited staff that are going to man the polling stations. And we're talking about 113 polling stations in this case. Everybody is ready. We are ready to deliver free, fair, and transparent elections tomorrow.
And Fred, the issue about security has been one that is of utmost concern, especially in by-elections like this. How are you collaborating with the security agencies to ensure that there's maximum security on the day?
There has been a series of engagement from the time those 60 days period for those by-election was kickstart by the Electoral Commission. We've engaged the police service at the top hierarchy to the regional and district level. In addition, we've met at the IPAC level together with the police as well, at the RIPAC and then the DIPAC level to engage them as to preparation. An interesting thing about Ayawasu East is that although Nima, Mamubi, Kanda, Kwauchulu, up to Kaukudi area has some kind of a description, these are places, or this is a place where you don't record many flashpoints. And interestingly, people living in that area, though I would say how people perceive the place, interestingly, the place has been peaceful in our elections throughout. And therefore, tomorrow, we anticipate things will not be anything different from what we've been experiencing over the past period. The last time the turnover was 74%. And we are anticipating that people will turn up in their numbers tomorrow to vote in an atmosphere of peace, cordiality, and friendship. As you know, 5 candidates are contesting these elections. We have the NDC candidate, we have the Liberal Party candidate, NPP candidate, and 2 other independent candidates as well. And they are all trying to solicit for the vote of the close to 50,000 voters in that area. And therefore, we appeal to them that people should not amass supporters and what have you at that very day to create problems. We also appeal to the honorables. When it comes to by-elections, one thing that creates confusion is members of parliament
Oh, Fred, it appears that we've lost you again on the line. Fred today is with the Electoral Commission. He was giving us some statistics there. But let's bring in the Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Divine Agbohom. Welcome to the program, Divine. We've heard from the NDC, we've heard from the Electoral Commission. They all say they are ready, prepared for tomorrow. How ready and prepared is the NPP for tomorrow as well? Kindly unmute so we can hear you. Hello, Divine? Right, we're trying to establish connection.
Good afternoon.
Right, Divine, can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, so, yes, we are here in Ayawasu East. We are done with campaign, as you know, 24 hours to the D-Day. Constitutionally, you are not allowed to campaign. Now we no more doing campaign. We're doing the final preparation regarding our agents, positioning, arrangement for collation, security, etc. We've had maximum cooperation from the Electoral Commission so far. The Ghana police yesterday also showed their presence in the constituency in a way that is quite, assuring. And we are hoping that the day will end tomorrow and we will not hear any of the stories, the unpleasant stories that often characterizes elections such as this one. So far, I think that it's good. We are hopeful that for once the constituents of Ayawasu East will tell Ghanaians a different story by voting for Baba Ali, the candidate of the New Patriotic Party. So far, this is the situation here in Ayawasu East now.
Your colleague from the NDC, Rashid Tanko Computer, tells me that they're expecting about 70% or more of the votes tomorrow. That means the NPP is likely to lose, according to what he's saying. Do you agree with him, the numbers that he's given us?
Well, just as you would not expect me to say that they would win, what we have done in the constituency, one, we have a candidate as an indigent that hails from here, born and bred, schooled, everything here in this constituency. He served the constituency, he's a known member of the constituency, and he's liked by the constituents. Unlike their candidates that, in a way, one would say was parachuted into the constituency. We are convinced that the Ayawasu East constituents would for once vote for somebody who comes from their place, who would represent them in parliament. Very unusual of what happens during by-elections. This time, coming to the constituency, you will not see any, development, last-minute development you will want to call it. That usually comes along with by-elections such as this. And it points only to one thing, that the NDC is taking the constituents for granted for reason that, whatever it is, they will vote for us, as has been, the situation in the past. So they are not taking them serious. Their focus has rather been on a member of their party who's decided to go independent. And we think that, well, as it is, if we are able to get our members out to vote in their numbers tomorrow, because you agree with me that usually during by-elections, the turnout is normally very low. And so from what we have done, if we are able to get even 65% turnout tomorrow, we are likely to pull a surprise. So yes, the NDC, how do you call it? The person who spoke on behalf of the NDC, right, of course, will say what he said. But we are hoping that the conference will listen to our story, that they should give the NPP the opportunity this time, because we have picked somebody who represents their interest, and they will vote for us tomorrow.
If you say you are winning, by how many percent are you predicting?
Well, in terms of percentage, you see, if we look at what we are anticipating, the gentleman, how do you call it, Thunder will take away from the NDC votes, we are so sure that if we are able to get about 37% of the votes tomorrow, we are likely to win the election. So a minimum of 37%. If the gentleman is also able to take about, between 18 and 20% of the vote, then you can be sure NDC is out.
Right, Divine, don't go yet. I have Rashid Tanko Computer back on the line to respond to some of your comments. Rashid Tanko Computer, you were listening to Divine. He says that the MPP candidate should be voted for because he is born and bred in that particular constituency. And you're not happy with that statement?
Well, I don't know what he described by born and bred in that constituency. He's trying to talk of indigene. The indigenes of Accra are Ghans. The Ghans are Dangbis. They are the indigenes of Accra. We are all not indigenes of Accra. And among the 5 candidates, I have not seen any Ghan Dangbi among them. So what is he talking about? You see, that's why I'm saying that they don't even understand the way the constituency is made up of. Okay? If they are going to go by that measure, then a lot of their MPs, the MPP MPs in Accra, will be booted out. I'm not surprised in 2024 they booted all of them out. You see, that is what they have been doing. They don't understand the politics today. And they try to bring in ethnicity and all those kind of things. We don't do our politics that way. In any case, the Ayawasu East people are very much satisfied with the performance of the NDC. Do you know that that constituency is predominantly a Muslim-dominated constituency? Tell me, 8 years, what did they do for them? They made sure that even going to Hajj, which is one of the pillars of Islam, they needed to pay more than almost 80,000 Ghana cedis to get to Mecca. Why? You want to kill them?
But Rashid, Divine has also...
Today, what are you doing?
Divine has also stated that you've also been winning this seat, the NDC. Usually you are the ones that win this seat, and it doesn't see any development that you've brought to that particular area. How about that?
You see, when they talk of development, it's not about building a classroom block. We have what we call human development and societal development as well. Go and check Ayawasu as we speak now. Why would they continue to be voting NDC? Because the people believe in the policy of the NDC, and they believe that it is only NDC who will make their life better. And we have continued to make their life better in the constituency. Currently, go there and see Ayawasu market. Ayawasu is the market. Prices of foodstuffs have gone down drastically. We're in the month of Ramadan. The people are happy with us because the cost of living is very low as of now in the constituency, and it's making life for them easy to continue their religious obligation. Is that not development? Is that not development?
Is it?
So what are they talking about? I see they have nothing to hang on. I'm telling you that tomorrow they are going to lose massively. They are going to lose and lose massively. I can assure you for that. Because the people have confidence in the government of the NDC, led by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and they are going to deliver a verdict for us tomorrow. Watch and see.
Divine, I believe I still have you on the line. Rashid has rebuffed your claim that the candidate for the New Patriotic Party was born and bred there. That makes him an indigene. He says that the indigenous people of this land are the Gadangwe, and if you look at Baba Jamal and your candidate as well, none of them is an indigene of the Greater Accra region, so you cannot make such a claim that because he was born and bred there, the people should vote for him.
All right, so thank you. I heard him all right. Fortunately, he repeated exactly what I described as an indigene. I said that our candidate, Baba Ali, is a born and bred indigene of Nima. I mean, he hails from there. That's where he was born. That's where he was raised and all. And I compared that to their candidate. So he should be able to speak to this. That's the distinction line that I have drawn. I'm saying that their candidate does not, hail from this place. We all know Baba Jama, in a way, politically is associated with Akotia. And how can you be in Akotia and be here at the same time? I understand. I'm a Ghanaian, okay? But we all know that Greater Accra is the capital of the nation Ghana, and so it's cosmopolitan. I mean, all other tribes live here. But I'm making a particular reference to the fact that our candidate is born and bred, member of the constituency we are referring to. Can he say the same of his candidate also? Is the argument. Let's place it in context. Again, we're talking about development. And I'm happy he smartly dodged all infrastructural development. He's talking about human development, talking about Hajj and all that. He rightly said that the constituents of Ayawasu East are all Muslims, okay, which means that he is also making reference to a particular sect. Of course, fortunately for us, our candidate is also a Muslim. In fact, the parents are all Muslim, Malam, and clerics. He himself, he has taught in, a lot of the Islamic schools here, and they all know he has a lot of students to his credit that he produced here as a teacher. So you want to understand that when you talk about physical development, he is talking about human development. Which of the two parties can be accredited with human development more than the NPP? We introduced free SHS, and the constituents of Ayawasu East also benefited from this. And in fact, they are still benefiting. We have products that, we turn out as a result of the free SHS. And to him, this is not human development. We have taken projects like Agenda 111 to ensure that we have hospitals in that constituency. I was thinking that at least NDC is in government, and the argument he's making, he would have been making particular reference to, any state development that they have been able to, do in that constituency that he can make reference to. He's talking about the president. For once, we are seeing a by-election where the sitting president is not partaking in that exercise. And you think that that's not cause to worry? Clearly, you can see that the NDC is taking the constituents of Ayawasu East for granted, thinking that no matter what it is, they will be voted. They will vote for the NDC, and for that reason, they are not taking them serious. Now, all their focus, as I said, is on their candidate who has defected to become an independent candidate in this particular election. The major gutter that has been a problem for them in Nima, we did that and covered it. The only such concrete gutter covered in the constituency was done by us during Kufuor's time. These are the things I expect my brother Tanko to be talking to, and not saying that they send people to Hajj. The people you are sending to Hajj, they paid. The dollar rate then and the dollar rate now are two, different situations, and it will affect the city value, the city component. So for this one, we did ours. You are also doing yours, and you can't say that because of that the people should vote for you. We are saying that we all know what happened during by-election. Right. Is that what we are witnessing in Ayawasu East now? No.
Divine Agohom, thank you very much. He's the Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the Opposition MPP. I still have Rashid Tanko Computer on the line with me. He's the Deputy Director of IT and Elections with the governing NDC. Rashid, you've been listening to the rebuttal from Divine. Your departing words so that we can wrap up this.
Well, Chairman Divine should have listened to me. I made it very clear that, look, they shouldn't go that path. Boniface was born and bred in Salga. They brought him to Medina. And he became Medina MP for MPP. So, you see, that's why they cannot choose and pick. So that kind of campaign there, it won't go anywhere. It will fall flat. But I can assure you, we are ready. No, he's happy. He's talking of the dollar rate. Who has brought it down? Is it not the NDC? Who have stabilized the cedi to the dollar? When at their time, it was 17 cedis to the dollar. And that's why they were punishing the Muslims who are going to Mecca. Because they needed plenty of money a lot of Ghanaian cities to change to dollars before they can go to perform the one of the pillars of Islam. The NDC has brought it down. We have made life easier for the Muslims in the constituency. It's one of the biggest things that we can talk of. That is a development. That one we have developed their pocket. We have brought back money into their pocket so that they will continue their business. That is what we are talking about. I know Chairman Divine is people there. They have lost already. We are only to make sure that, look, why would the president come in their constituency? The chief of staff was in the constituency yesterday. The chief of staff, the party national chairman, the leadership of the party. In fact, everybody were in the constituency. As we speak now, leadership of the party are in the constituency. So why do you want to bring the president into the constituency? In any case, the Flagstaff House is in the constituency. They are even happy. They are lucky. The Flagstaff, the government, the seat of government is in that constituency. So what are they talking about?
Right. Rashid Tanko Computer, thank you very much. He's the Deputy Director of IT and Elections with the governing NDC. And earlier we heard from Divine Agohum, who is the regional chairman of the MPP here in the Greater Accra region. We've also been hearing from the NDC communications team on the preparations ahead of tomorrow's by-election in Ayawasu East. Take a listen.
To win in tomorrow's elections.
Ayawasu East is our seat, and we don't have a problem with winning. In fact, our main concentration in these elections is our mobilization and how we'll be able to pull the people out to come and vote. And every 10 people that comes out to vote, we know we are having a minimum of 7. So that shouldn't be much. The winning is not a problem, but it's our mobilization to get people out that will tell the story.
Your opponents, the NPP, don't seem to agree with you on this score that, yes, this has been your stronghold, but then there's always time for history.
I don't think anybody going to war will tell you that he's going to war to lose. So we don't expect that from the NPP. Obviously, they know that they can't do much in this constituency, but at least they need that message to give their people hope. And you see, strategically, when you are going for such elections, an improvement on your earlier results also gives you a bragging right. So at least they will come here and say that probably they got 29% in the main elections, they have got 30% now or 31%, so they think that they've improved upon the earlier elections. Every election and its strategy, but to win deep down their hearts, they know it's impossible. In fact, it is impossible and cannot.
Interesting. So what's the percentage you'll be looking at for tomorrow's election?
I wouldn't deal with percentages too much, but we did 70% the last time, 2024. 2 years down the line, I believe that if we are able to mobilize well tomorrow, we should be able to go above 70%. I'm not surprised that people have started predicting 75% and all that, but at least we want to beat the 70% mark, ideally.
It will be really interesting, given that Global Info Analytics is tipping you guys to win. What do you think of the poll?
I've not studied the entire polls, but they wouldn't be wrong when it comes to predicting the victory of NDC in Ayawasu East. Is the easiest to do, but I know he was very careful the last time, because Ayawasu East was the first constituency to beat his predictions at the primaries. He predicted that Baba Jama was not going to win and was going to come second, but in fact Baba Jama won. And I'm just not happy with the strong defense that he is putting up. That's the only thing I don't like about his posturing. Yes, you can do your best in polls. It can go wrong. One factor can let your poll go wrong or something. Yes, but you don't use it as your yardstick for getting it wrong and all that. It's not the best of posturing. So for me, my advice to him is that so far he's shown himself to be credible. We appreciate his work. And for me, any work or from anyone,
I take it seriously, even when it's going against me. At least if you study it, it will tell you something to improve. And if you are able to improve it, that means that your predictions can turn, because I worked on myself or worked on what you thought that I was not doing well. So it can turn, but you don't say that it's because of what was given out and all that resulted in that. It just can't be true, because what happened as a party, we formed a committee, we investigated it, and we knew what happened. And it's not just one person who, give out goodies that changed it. Everybody did. So it means that it couldn't have been the reason for him getting it wrong.
In the bustling Zongo communities of Sekondi Takoradi, rising temperatures are turning homes into ovens. The combination of climate change, poor housing design, and limited ventilation is creating unbearable indoor heat and putting lives at risk. The most vulnerable, children, the elderly, and pregnant women are feeling the heat the hardest. Prince Owusu has more in today's climate evidence.
Ghana's climate strategies recognize the dangers of global warming, but the threat of indoor heat in low-income communities often goes unnoticed. In Sekondi Takoradi Zongo, cramped buildings and limited airflow are often compounding the crisis. Resident Teresa Baini says the problem is deeply rooted in poor urban planning.
Buildings are packed tight, blocking breeze. Wood fires for cooking make the heat worse.
For many families, coping with heat has become a daily struggle. Trader Balikisu Dauda explains that she keeps her children cool by wiping them down with wet towels, but says the elderly are often left to endure the heat with little relief.
The heat is harsh, causing rashes and making kids uncomfortable. We most of the times use wet towels to cool them down, trying to help them sleep. It's tougher for kids. They can't handle it like adults do.
Another resident, Idris Mohammed, says the heat drives them outdoors at night.
Even with the air conditioner, the heat is overwhelming, forcing us to rely on natural ventilation, like laying mats outside just to catch a breeze.
The Sekondi Metropolitan Assembly says it's aware of the growing concern. The Metropolitan Development Planning Officer and Climate Change Focal Point, Abu Mohammed, says the Assembly is taking steps to reduce the impact of extreme heat, especially in communities like European Town, where many women cook using traditional cooking methods.
Particularly in the Zongos, you realize that the buildings are mostly joined together. It is not like a new settlement where there's ventilation. So technically it will generate heat, and people, but because they have lived with it, they are not realizing. So we need to have education and educate them to understand that there's a change, and that change is the reason why there's so much heat.
A recent study by Ebenezer Mankwa of the University of Ghana paints a worrying picture. It shows that extreme indoor temperatures in Sekondi Takoradi Zongo communities are worsening residents' health. Many rely on electric fan and open windows to stay cool, but frequent power outages and high electricity cost makes these options unreliable. Amankwa recommends stronger climate-responsive housing policies that focus on ventilation, thermal comfort, and affordable cooling for low-income urban dwellers. His finding echoes Ghana National Adaptation Plan and nationally determined contribution goals. both calling for urgent climate action that safeguard public health.
We have installed heat detection devices in rooms and hospitals. For setup, position windows to face each other and orient buildings to allow wind flow, reducing heat impact.
As temperatures continue to rise, the heat inside Zongo homes is no longer just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. The efforts by the Sekendita Kordi Metropolitan Assembly are a positive step, but experts warn that lasting solution will require bold housing reforms and stronger climate resilience measures to protect those most at risk.
This story is brought to you by JoyNews in partnership with CDK in Ghana, University of Ghana Center for Climate Change and Sustainability Studies, with funding from Claire R4I Opportunities Fund.
Well, President John Mahama has delivered his second State of the Nation address since returning to power for the second time. And for the second consecutive time, he wore the same smock. Coincidence or a calculated signal of continuity for his reset agenda in 2026? My colleague Emmanuel Jivenu reports.
President John Dramani Mahama in recent times has consistently worn the smock, also known as fugu or batakari, at major national and international events. At his first address to the United Nations General Assembly after returning to power, he appeared in fugu. During his state's visit to Zambia in February, he wore fugu, a decision that sparked conversation across diplomatic and public spaces. His first State of the Nation address in 2025 also featured the traditional attire. This year, the president appears once again in a fugu, strikingly similar in design to the one he worn previously, this time paired with a cap. The repetition is noticeable. Is this simply wardrobe continuity, or does it signal something deeper?
President repeating the same dress is to show consistency, continuity, and ability to continue where he started from in the last year.
As we build on the foundation laid in 2025, the first year of my return to the presidency, we do so with clarity of purpose, unity of action, and confidence in our ability to deliver a future worthy of our people's sacrifice and their aspirations. I can say to you with confidence, Ghana is back.
Historian Kweku Dako Ankra says political attire in Ghana often carries deliberate meaning.
It is a reassurance about his constituency that nothing else will distract him and that he is ready to continue the way he intends to captain the ship of nation into its safety as he promised when he won the elections.
Our nation is on the runway. It is in takeoff mode. And you are all advised to fasten your seat belts.
By returning in the same symbolic attire, the president reinforces the message that the policy direction remains unchanged, that the agenda is ongoing.
These measures have begun to deliver some of the most remarkable economic outcomes in decades.
The president is trying to use this dressing symbol as an evocative way of reassurance, of consistency, of his own humility.
During my recent trip to Zambia, we saw what a united Ghana can achieve on the global stage. It showed a nation that understands its brand equity. If we can mobilize that same collective resolve for our development agenda, we will see real progress.
By consistently wearing the fugu at major national and international platforms, President John Dramani Mahama elevates Ghanaian heritage and increased visibility for local craftsmanship. The repeated display strengthens demand for locally woven textiles, supports tailors, weavers, and contribute to job creation along the textile value chain. Emmanuel Jivenu, JoyNews, Accra.
In our first episode of JoyNews' Ghana Month series, we bring you the story of Jamestown, a historic Ghana community that played a significant role in Ghana's fight for independence. Colonial administration once operated from James Fort, making the area a center of control but also a symbol of resistance among the local people. Ramat Bashiru has the rest of the story.
Ghana, we now have freedom. Ghana, land of freedom. Toils of the brave and the sweat of their labors. Toils of the brave which have brought results.
From the struggle against British colonial rule to present day, Jamestown has been a hotbed of political activity.
At long last, the battle has ended, and thus Ghana, your beloved country, is free forever.
Some of the leading voices in the independence movement later became known as the Big Six. The nationalists who played key roles in challenging colonial rule included two prominent Ghana leaders, Emmanuel Obichubi-Lamte and Ebenezer Akweje. Benjamin Nikwate Owu, an elderly resident, recount how the town got its name and how Ebenezer Akweje mobilized the Ghana people and residents of Jamestown to support the independence movement.
That we should support Kwame Nkrumah and Ghanaians. Those times there was called a Big Six, but when we come to have our independence, we all fight for him and support him to claim locals to Ghana. When they are about to fight with the independent, Akwaje, he said he have a friend, one of his friends is called Kwame Nkrumah. So the five of them be together and send off to find Kwame Nkrumah, and went to UK and brought Kwame Nkrumah to Ghana. That time this was Gold Coast. So before he came, then when the Kwame Nkrumah resumed, I remember I was not there, but I hear from my elders that Kwame Nkrumah, he came here and called them conference. Well, then he gave a speech that now we maturity, so we have to we can manage our country.
At the Jamestown Tourism Information Center, historian Antwi-Lamte describes British rule as a time of hardship for many Ghanaians. He explains that the story of Jamestown dates back to the construction of the James Fort in 1643. Jamestown formed part of Accra Central, the constituency Dr. Kwame Nkrumah represented after winning the 1951 elections while detained at James Fort.
A lot of people died. It's very painful history, very sad. By that time, they don't see us as human beings. They see us like animals because we have gents, those who are very strong men and strong women. Something like the fort. This James Fort prison was built by the British, 1643, for slavery activities. And when slavery was abolished, the Ghana government turned this place as a prison. 1960 up to 2007, the prison is closed. So that's where Kwame Nkrumah was put. The first president of Ghana was put inside over there for a year. In 1950s, he removed from this very prison 51, became the prime minister 52. After that, Ghana got independence 57.
We've got more stories for you after the break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. The New Patriotic Party has begun its reorganization process ahead of election 2028. My colleague Gemma Apia sat down with one of the party's stalwarts, Freddie Blade, to discuss the upcoming internal elections and other matters.
I'm in conversation with a former national chair of the New Patriotic Party. The party has started its reorganization process. It started with the election of the flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, in January, and they continue with their elections. Now, from the 1st of March to the 31st of March, the party is registering new and old members. We're going to talk about that. But after the successful election of Dr. Bawumia, other issues have come up. One, the party's unity, the strategy, and also the path back to power. My guest today is former national chair of the NPP, Freddie Blade. Thank you so much for having me in your home.
Thank you, Gemma.
Yes,
I'm
Gemma.
right with the name.
Let's start with the NPP's presidential primary in January. Dr. Bawumia was elected. Yes. Did anything surprise you about this particular primary?
You mean
the outcome? Yes.
Not at all. I was a little not happy with the percentage. I was expecting 70.
For who?
For Dr. Bawumia.
70%?
70%. But it turned out 65. That's okay.
That's 56.
56%.
6%. Yes. Why 70 though?
What I thought, overwhelmingly, were doing very well. A lot of people that I spoke with, I fraternized with, many of them were no doubts that he should be the leader. But of course, he was given a stiff opposition. It was a very interesting, very competitive. So we are okay with the results.
On the campaign trail at the time, most of the opponents, his opponents, came for him.
A few.
Yes, they came for him and said that he was one of the reasons why the party lost abysmally in the election.
That argument even proved false by the result that turned out from our members. A lot of people don't think so. It's not so. And those who were saying so were for purposes of their own conviction, maybe to prove that the elections that we didn't win, they wanted to find a result, make him a scapegoat, but it's not the case.
You don't think that he should be blamed at all?
Not at all. Why should he be blamed?
He was on the ballot paper.
It doesn't matter.
Representing the NPP.
Yes, it was on the ballot paper. Based on our performance and people's perception of our performance. And it turned out the other way. So maybe the message that we were all putting up was not resonating with what the people expected. I believe that place we all take the blame for it. But we live to fight another day.
Yeah.
Come 28, we'll do something about it. I'm convinced.
The presidential primary is over now. We all know that Dr. Bawumia is the flag bearer of the NPP.
Yes.
Also, the concern that has come up is the party's unity, because a lot of things were said on the campaign trail. Some of his opponents said some things. There's the belief that these things that were said against him cannot just go away because he has won the election. And the party, as it stands now, is not as united as it's supposed to be to win 2028. How would you describe the state of the NPP now?
I don't go for that logic. So it's justify your inclusion, justify yourself as our choice for the election. A lot of people throw stones at him, throw mud at him, and some of the supporters of the party on the other side or on the east side may also throw stones
I was praying very hard that it should remain a friendly fight. What I normally refer to as friendly hostilities, because after all we are in the same party. But of course some people step out of the line and the elections are over. We continue to be members of our own party. It's not easy for you to lose an election. Some could be better. The bitterness could remain with them for a while. But at the end of the day, we talk to each other, we come to maybe a more formidable opponent, which is the NDC. And all our arsenal should be targeted at them and not at ourselves. At all, there's going to be only one candidate, presidential candidate. And Dr. Vladimir was chosen. We all have to mend our offenses, come together and fight for the party, led by Dr. Vladimir. So the unity, yes, people will talk about that. It could be a little friction here and there, arising from the
It's still there, that
contest.
friction you talk about.
That's friction will come out of when you are going for a contest. That's true. Sometimes it happens. As I said, in some cases it may not even leave them, those who might have lost. What we've got to do is that we should be magnanimous, particularly Dr. Vladimir.
There are talks that Ken Japong and Brian Champong have not visited him yet at his home to congratulate him, and that is a sign that all is not well at the presidential primary.
They've all extended their congratulations to him, at least to the public. That position that they should go to start to congratulate him, it would have been nice, I guess, if they have done it, but if they haven't done so, maybe time will tell.
It doesn't change anything?
It doesn't change.
It doesn't say anything?
It doesn't, so far as I'm concerned. As I said, it could be a little better in losing. It will be a bit hurt in losing, even primaries. Some people take rehearsals and friendly competition even very seriously. And they get hurt because, as you mentioned, there will be things said against this side, things said against the other side, and some could hurt. Time heals. So let's give ourselves a little more time as we prepare, as we reorganize. I believe this was really nice.
But do you have that time that you're talking about?
What time?
Time heals all wounds. We just have about 2 years to the general election.
Yes, mind you, NDC hasn't had its own primaries. We don't know what will happen. It could be worse than ours. But let's leave it at such. 2 to 3 years, not a short time. If we can't put ourselves together. We have at the moment even started going through, we are preparing towards polling stations and constituency and what have you. We'll do it. But as we go along, we'll be okay. But we form factions even within the same party. Even in the house that you live with your siblings. Understand you have quite a number of sisters and a brother. You may disagree along the way, but you manage somehow. In the face of a bigger threat, you close your ranks.
Speaking of your reorganization process, you've started. On the 1st of March, you started with the registration of old and new members. Have you registered already?
Not, we are already there. I have to validate it because my name is in the register already. Right. We are talking about people who want to
join the party.
Yes.
Now, there's this perception that the NPP is a party that favors the old. And so if you're a young person entering the party, it will take you some years, a number of years, for you to even get a position when the party is in power. Have you heard that?
There is nothing further than the truth, than this position. Some people will say so. One, it's an established party, very long with history, long history. If you know even my own history, I am from somewhere else.
Yes.
CPP and I joined. And I've been accepted. Younger people who may be in a hurry, ambitious people who may be in a hurry, maybe they don't buy into the philosophy of the party.
What's the philosophy of the party?
Of the party. So they would like to maybe just join a party and not be recognized or not accept the party's philosophy. And
what was the philosophy of the party in relation to new members, young people joining and achieving something within the political landscape?
I'm talking about party's philosophy. It's a liberal party. It's a party that believes in entrepreneurship. A party that believes in ownership of property. A party that doesn't stop people from taking advantage of opportunities to improve upon their individual well-being and co, while at the same time working together, making sure that the ordinary people, those who may not do that very well, have some security, some network of security for their future. It is so. It's not that we all want to be equal, or that we all want to have the same advantage or work for just the community. It is because of you are from the community, and therefore we must improve our individual effort at the same time working towards it. It's a question, that's the philosophy. But you, before you join a party, then you must appreciate its own philosophy and look at it before you jump at it and go into it. But there are some that say, I just want to join a party and I'll get a position in it. No, I think that's wrong. Come and accept the philosophy, work for it. Young people we have TESCOM, particularly students, and ordinary people who believe in the same philosophy. They join it. It's not an issue of, I want a position. And for that matter, there are people who are already established in it. There are people who may be old, but have the same philosophy that they adhere to or they love to espouse. Don't say that because there are respectable people, there are people who have been working on their own, because it's not a collection of just individuals to form a party. But believe in it, work towards it, work for it, and work for your country at the same time. That is very strong sentiment that I've told you. If you don't accept it, then you say that there is a long line. I don't want to go and join it. Some people say so.
But if there is a long line, but the NDC is
NDC
open,
a short line?
I mean, that's what...
It's a new party. It's been not too long. It hasn't got the antecedents of long. MPP come from the philosophy of Damka
Dombo.
It starts from the UGCC and has become that. The NDC hasn't got that philosophy. They haven't got any antecedent of that.
So are you saying that that's why young people would prefer
some young people, if it was said so, earlier on when they were getting established, the foundation of the NDC, that's 1992-93, that's when they established it. And the philosophy that people they were bounding about is that if you go to MPP, that the line is too long, come and join us because we are young, we don't have too many people in the queue. That was a long time ago. But now they also have the queue. You develop the queue because they are getting older.
Do you think the MPP is attractive to the youth now?
Absolutely.
As it is now?
Why not? You could see. You see, it's not a question of, it's not a football. It's not a football club. So it's a party, as I said, which has seen its own ideology, philosophy, and whatever you can name it. How does it become attractive? It's not that younger people have put on bandana or worn some dressing that you go and dance in it and therefore want to join. If what it espouses them, it's attractive. It's you can see that it works. You can see the work from the past. What it has done for this country, what it has done for the youth, giving them even education, opening up opportunities, making sure that people won't go and line up only to join, let's say, the army, the police service, the public setup, but want to create jobs in the private sector and make sure people get a job and be satisfied with themselves. You don't form a party because you just want to go and join the public service. You want to join a party that will create jobs, enabling them environment that individuals can create their own jobs, have opportunity. Even youth have the job that they can create by themselves and employ others. That, I believe, is the creative nature of the party. If you don't consider that attractive, I don't know what else you want to find attractive. It's not an army that you go there and go and get position.
I mean, you lost the 2024 general election.
Yes, that's another matter.
Yes, and I don't know whether you follow conversations on social media a lot.
We lost 2024. We won 2020. We won 2016. That's the game. You win some, you lose some.
But it was unprecedented. The margin over 2 million.
Do you know how many? Do you know the margin by which John Mahama lost the first time?
Close to 1 million.
Close to 1 million. So it doesn't make any difference. So that's it. He was even in power. That's what he lost by that.
But you were in power.
Yes. So it makes no difference that because of the margin was quite high this time round. You got to sit down and look at it and analyze the situation. Because of that, you say the party is not attractive. I find it somersaulted logic. No, it'll be okay.
I was making a point about how people are reacting to the party on social media. I don't know whether you've seen those comments that anytime there is some comments from or statements from the NDC, the government, and it doesn't even look so good, the response is, okay, the government has done wrong, but you're still not going to vote for the NPP.
The time will come. I can't even imagine that's how somebody would react. I wouldn't know what to say. That we voted into government to do what it says it will do. It's not achieving it. It's not working towards it. You say, yes, it's not working towards it. Even the procedure on the matter is wrong, and yet I will vote for it. I find it strange. I'm saying that, yes, there are a lot of people on the social media. We are not the only people who are on the social media. Right. And mind you, it's not only the media like you working for the media that's on the social media, but great number of our people are also on the social media. But they are also on the social media. They engage in agitation and propaganda. Even when things are going wrong, they say, well, we don't mind. If the economy is going bad, we don't mind. Some people will say so, but I don't think all Ghanaians think that's that way. If it is wrong, at the end of the day, it will be proven by the results of 2018.
You've started the reorganization. 2028. You started the reorganization of the party, the elections from the polling station executive level through to the national level. What should the party be looking out for in choosing the leaders?
Well, unless you want me to advise who are going to course, like you said, we just started.
Yeah.
And individuals are offering themselves. If it's not attractive, you see a number of people who are volunteered to take positions in the party and serve the party. What I would say is that it's public service. You want to give service to your party so that it will conduct itself in such a way that youth, the ordinary people down there, everywhere else, people in the cities, growing number of people will find the party attractive. You work towards it. You resonate your message to the extent of connecting with the ordinary people that you are working for. As I said the last time, maybe one way or the other, we were busy working, thinking that our work will speak for itself. But unfortunately, maybe you've got to do a little more, I would call it propaganda, more education. You tell your story in such a way that people will appreciate the steps that you are taking, the economic policies that you are coming out with. Some of them may even hurt momentarily, but it is for our own good. We've got to do that. We need people who who sacrifice themselves would do that. Be humble in their communication, their dealings with others, and be prepared. You should be public-spirited and work for the party, even from the police station level to the constituency, and indeed regional and national level.
For the national level, do you have a favorite yet? For the names that have been coming up. I mean, some have expressed their interest in contesting.
I haven't seen all those. Some people have been putting up flyers. They may not even turn up. So we wait and see what happens.
But you don't have a favorite yet?
Not yet at the moment.
Yeah, right. Let's go to Parliament now. And after the flag bearer, or after the presidential primary, the conversation at the time was that the minority leader, Fengomakin, did not support the flag bearer now, Dr. Bawumia. And so there are some plans within the NPP being hatched to remove him as minority leader. Is there a plan like that?
I'm not aware there's a plan being hatched like that. It has not come to my notice at all. It's not even the party, the member, the caucus that decide that we put it this. It's a party. The party makes a decision. The party's prerogative to, as it were, to front the leadership of the party.
Is there a plan like that?
At the moment, I haven't come out with a plan. There's no plan like that.
Right.
Nobody has even talked to me about it. But the party has the prerogative of doing so when they find us, and when the party finds it necessary. Of course, they will take it this.
Should he be removed?
Why I wouldn't say so now? Why should I say so?
Why shouldn't he be removed?
Because we put him up, and he's doing quite well. Absolutely. Trumpeting the party's philosophy and expressing very vigorously the sentiments of the party, Parliament, and even to the public.
On the scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, how would you rate his leadership style?
I don't want to. You are part of the leadership of the party.
Right.
And once somebody is doing well, let me say the person is doing well.
He's doing well?
At the moment, yes, he's doing well.
So he shouldn't be removed?
I'm saying it is the party that decides as to who to put.
What do you think, personally?
But I thought I shouldn't be removed for now.
For now?
For now, yes, because he's doing well.
When you say for now, when do you think that?
I am not saying that remove him, but not now. I'm saying for now, so far, so good. So let it remain there. The leadership is doing well. Leave it there for a moment that the party decides to make some of such changes based on various factors that they find necessary. At the moment, no.
Factors like, help us understand what goes into changing the leadership of the caucus.
I don't want to go into that with you, but as I said, it's the leadership of the party, the National Council, recommended by the NEC in consultation, of course, with the caucus Parliament. A lot of things thinking and calculations and so forth go into that. So at the moment, the party has not expressed its desire to make any change in the leadership. It's those who are opponents who are talking about that now, because they're doing quite well, and maybe some will even say that it's outclassing the majority in Parliament. I wouldn't even say so for now. As I said, we are on sale. We are moving on. In this turbulent political atmosphere, changes may come. Maybe not now. Changes may come. Maybe even in the future may not come. But I wouldn't say that rain or shine, no change should take place. No, I don't have the prerogative to say so. It's the party itself that when we meet, based on the leadership, what comes out.
Do you think there is ever going to be a conversation at the leadership level that we need to look at the leadership in Parliament of our caucus?
There's always a conversation. We look at it, praise them if need be. If we criticize them, if we think that based on what is going on around in the political environment. It's a strategy to make changes. Yes, why not do it? If there's no need for the strategy to go on, I'll say for now, please, don't disturb what is going on. Allow everything to move on smoothly. That's all. That conversation has not even come out so far as I'm concerned.
Right.
Yes.
Let's